Welcome back to Cheddar's Opening Bell, everyone. NBA legend and arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, joining the sports betting company DraftKings. The six-time NBA Finals MVP is joining the board as a special advisor and is receiving an equity stake in the company in exchange for his guidance. DraftKings has a market cap of more than $14 billion. Shares spiked more than 6% yesterday. On this news, they're down a bit today with the broader market, but for more on this deal, I want to bring in our guest, Matt Kalish. He's a co-founder and president of DraftKings. Matt, it's great to have you with us today. Why was MJ the perfect fit for your company?
I think Michael Jordan would be top of anyone's list in our industry. You know, we're a fantasy sports and sports betting company. Michael is a proven marketing genius, branding genius, and has been incredibly successful both on and off the court. I think he's the perfect fit for our organization to bounce ideas off of, provide strategic advice on major initiatives for the company. And I really look forward to pursuing more and more projects with Michael, working hand in hand to try to grow and develop our business in this really, really important period as sports betting and fantasy are growing throughout the country.
Now, Matt, it's no secret during his time in the NBA, it's been well documented. Jordan loved to bet, whether on blackjack or on the golf course. His enthusiasm for wagering, part of why this partnership came together, and how did that formulate?
I think he's a great fit. He's very authentic. He is somebody that, I don't think it's hard to believe that every single sports betting operator, fantasy sports company, anybody in our industry would want to partner up with. So he's probably one of the more intuitive names that you could think of. I think we are really, really excited to get to work with Michael, starting with our next board meeting. Having his voice around the table, I think, will be incredible.
Hey, I want to get one more question in here, Matt. In terms of his equity stake, Michael Jordan's, where did those shares come from? Are these newly created shares?
I'm unable to comment about the exact details of his deal.
Okay, but in terms of the sell, was it a hard sell to MJ, or was he pretty open and willing to do this?
I'm uncomfortable commenting on exactly what that looked like, but I mean, we clearly are working together. It's an amazing, I think, start to the relationship, and over the course of the next several years, the proof will be in the pudding as you see more of, hopefully, his impact on whether it's our way of thinking of branding, marketing, various initiatives throughout the company. And so the proof is always in the pudding on these things, but I think he's a person who's proven over the course of many decades that he gets results. He's a winner. We're winners. It'll be a great fit.
Matt, we're through the first round of the NBA playoffs. Teams on August 26th, not just in the NBA, but across 4 sports leagues, they boycotted games. DraftKings is a platform that is relying on games happening. So I'm wondering how DraftKings and MJ will continue to work together to advance some of the very social justice initiatives and efforts that the players themselves also care about.
Absolutely. I mean, inclusion, equity, and belonging is a large investment inside of DraftKings right now organizationally. I think some of the news from what was going on in the NBA over the last several weeks, Michael Jordan, it seemed, was very front and center in bridging the gap between the players, the owners. I think he is somebody that brings a very authentic voice to how to sort of think about and deploy a truly equitable, inclusive working environment. I'm really excited to hear more of what he has to say and see his impact on DraftKings on that topic. I think it could be extremely meaningful, especially going into this new decade. I think it'll be front and center for everybody in many of our discussions.
Matt, we got to ask you about the NBA after last night's thriller that saw the Rockets move past the Thunder. The semifinals are now set. The Rockets are going to take on the Lakers. The Nuggets will play the Clippers in the other Western Conference series. Now, the Eastern has already gotten going. The Heat hold a 2-0 lead over the Bucks. The Celtics are up in their division as well. Lots of star power on these teams like James Harden, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler. I'm assuming that does help drive activity on the platform.
Yeah, it's hard to complain when you have these amazing series. Denver Nuggets won this nail-biter Game 7 against the Jazz. Harden with his block last night, helping the Rockets advance. Celtics are starting to emerge, our home team here in Boston. It's an incredible playoffs. It's a very unique playoffs. You wouldn't typically expect to see NBA happening in August, and here we are. So I think it's certainly a new context. We're dealing with an unprecedented sports schedule, and we're seeing unprecedented customer behaviors as a result. About 1 week from now, NFL starts. Every year, that's our biggest tentpole event of the year. But I think the availability of NBA, baseball, other sports during the summer that typically wouldn't be there has really enabled us to stay in market with marketing more, keep our customers more engaged throughout the entire summer. So we're really going into NFL, I believe, with a head of steam.
So I do want to ask, though, Matt, have you seen a discernible uptick in traffic and bets on the platform in the wake of the playoffs?
The playoffs always have a nice result. I can't comment on exact results, as a public company, but I can say, our fantasy business, much of the contests that we run, it's observable how things are going, and the playoffs are a really exciting time, I think, for sports fans all throughout the country.
Matt, you had some news out this morning as well. DraftKings has inked a deal to bring a sports book to Wrigley Field. Tell us about this new multi-year deal with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, a really exciting news kind of piece here. The Cubs deal, DraftKings is now the exclusive sports betting provider of the Chicago Cubs. And this is really building and continuing on a relationship that for many years we've had with the Cubs. And it's the perfect time with sports betting really just opening up in Illinois for the first time, where consumers can go onto their phone, register for a DraftKings account, make bets in week one. So this Cubs kind of news is really, really exciting. One of the crown jewels, I think, of this deal is the ability to build what will be a true destination sportsbook in Wrigleyville. And DraftKings right now can begin the process with the Cubs, with the Illinois Gaming Board, city, state regulators of proposing and beginning to hopefully break ground and build out what will be one of the biggest sports books in the country right in downtown Chicago. So we're incredibly excited about the potential there, the opportunity there that's ahead of us, and excited to get to work.
Matt Kalish, co-founder and president of DraftKings, thanks so much for joining us here this morning on Cheddar.